If anyone expected Eddie Jones to join the global outrage over the 2027 Rugby World Cup draw, they clearly forgot who Eddie Jones is. While fans, pundits, and half the rugby world have been calling the draw rigged, a joke, and an embarrassment, Jones has instead defended it, and even suggested people complaining simply don't understand modern rugby. The controversy exploded the moment the pools were released. New Zealand in Pool A with Australia, Chile and Hong Kong, China. South Africa in Pool B with Italy, Georgia and Romania. And the real bombshell, if the Springboks and All Blacks top their pools, they will meet in the quarter-finals. The two most successful nations in the history of the sport facing off before the semi-finals. Fans were furious, analysts were shocked, World Rugby was hammered online. But Eddie Jones? He shrugged. He says the draw is balanced. Ewan McKenzie on the Rugby Unity podcast made the point first. In the quarterfinals, there are a bunch of potentially key games. So yes, everyone talks about New Zealand v South Africa, but Argentina v Ireland is another potential one. So, you're clearing the decks early, McKenzie said. He went further, dismissing all complaints as unserious. There's going to be some pain somewhere. That's the nature of the tournament, so you just have to run with it. That's the point of the tournament. Then Eddie chimed in, doubling down on the idea that anyone expecting easy quarterfinals is living in the past. I find it a bit mystical. When you get down to the last 8, they should be tough games, shouldn't they? What do we expect? He said. Jones blamed the outrage on what he calls an old-fashioned view of rugby. I think that's a bit of an old-fashioned view. You go back probably 15-20 years in the World Cup, the quarterfinals weren't difficult games, but now you know the depth of world rugby has increased and that's what we want. And then he fired the shot everyone knew was coming. So we want games that really test opponents. I think it's fantastic for the tournament. Obviously not potentially fantastic for Ireland, who I imagine are the ones who are complaining. Of course he pointed at Ireland. Eddie will always be Eddie. But the debate didn't stop there. Some argue rugby should use seedings like tennis, ranking teams so that the top 4 can never meet before the semis. Jones shut that idea down too. We've got the bandings. They give you that balance in the draw, but with anything, you're going to have a few discrepancies. And then he laid out the reason he says seedings would never work. We play another set of games next weekend, and the rankings of the teams change again. It's not like tennis where they do it over a long period of time. And if you get an injury in tennis, you can still be ranked in the top 20 for a period of time, but that's not the case in rugby. I don't think that kind of system can work in rugby. So there it is. Eddie Jones against the tide, insisting the draw is balanced, dismissing the outrage and suggesting the real problem is not the system, but the expectations of fans still living in 2007. Now the question is simple, is Eddie Jones right, or is this quarter-final setup a disaster created by World Rugby's outdated draw system? Let me know what you think in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to Green and Gold Army News for more explosive rugby coverage.